Hi, and welcome to NicheCraft. My name is Cassie, and I am your host. And I got this book in the mail, and I was thinking that maybe you guys would like to look through it with me. Yeah? Before we do that, I just want to remind everybody that I do have a giveaway going on right now. So either pause the video and go find that and enter it real quick, or watch to the end and they'll remind you again at the end, and then you can go enter that giveaway. All right, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I always have giveaways going on. I also wanted to ask you to please like, subscribe, and share with your friends if you enjoy this video. And so let's begin. So yeah, the book that I got is called Afghans for All Season. It's book 2. This is made by Leisure Arts. And some of you guys might recognize them as being the ones that put out a lot of these kinds of books. And some of these are really highly sought after because they were published a while ago, and they're not public. They're out of print, so some of them are really expensive. You know, like even on Amazon, you can only find ones that are used and they're like $50 or whatever. But this one, I was able to get a new one for a very reasonable price. So Afghans for All Seasons book 2 was the one that I was able to find, and I think it's still on there for like definitely under $20 and probably even under $15. So if you want to pick this up, you know, at least you can get a preview. So oh, I have one other thing to ask you guys. I'm sorry, I'm being very demanding today. As I go through this book, as long as it's not a granny square, because I'm going to be doing granny squares every week, okay? If you see a blanket that you like and it's not a granny square blanket, please let me know below, because I'll totally do a tutorial for one of these blankets if I get enough requests, you know? I'll probably do one anyway. So anyway, so we've got the table of contents. It looks like we've got about 36 or so pages for each season. And we start out with spring. All right, so let's see what the spring blankets look like. Right, so this one's called Gentle Raindrops, and it is 48.5 inches by 66.5 inches. We've got these kind of blue and green motif going on, and it does have tassels on the end. This one's called Vintage Lace, and I really like this. It's a very simple rib stitch, but it also has this kind of lacy stitch in between each one of the V's. And then you've got this really pretty, like, kind of lacy border around that. I really like that. And anyway, yeah, I like that. I really like it in that one color too. But Vintage Lace, 48.5 by 68 inches. This one's got another kind of chevron looking thing, but as you can see on the bottom here, that trellis that's in between the chevrons, that it does create a straight border, so it's not a chevron border. And this one's called Tranquility. The finished size is 50 inches by 65 inches. I like that. I wonder what it would look like if each one of these chevron stitches here that they repeat, if they were to be in different colors though. So this Glorious Lilacs blanket is a granny square, and I will definitely consider doing this for my granny square day. Eventually, we've got 45 inches by 62.5 inches is the is the dimensions of this one. So this one's called Southern Blossoms. Those are magnolia blossoms. I recognize those. We've got like a enclosed granny square, and then we have, you know, more of a basic style there. And this ends up, the finished size is 50 inches by 64 inches. Here's another granny square. Right, this one's called Around the Block, and it features a lot of these kind of pastel, very spring colors, like Easter egg colors. And it is 45 inches by 57 inches. So this one's called Garden of Flowers, and this is what the full blanket looks like. That's really pretty. I'll let you know. It's 53 inches by 70 inches, but this is also done in a granny square style. Now the granny squares are larger on this one than they have been, though. I think that's interesting. All right, so this one's called Bunny Love, and it's done in a filet mesh style. And you've got the hearts right here, and then you've got the bunnies, and then you've got the hearts and the bunnies. So I actually looking at this, I'm wondering what would it look like if it was just done in rows of hearts, like maybe for Valentine's Day or something like that. But still, yeah. This one is 66.5 inches by 83 inches. That's pretty long. But yeah, it's done in that fillet mesh style though. I was thinking about doing a fillet mesh style tutorial anyway. So this one, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's Blue Delft, D-E-L-F-T. And this one, the finished size is 49 inches by 72 inches. It's also a granny square style blanket there. This one's called A Pretty Welcome. Oh, I like that. That's I believe that's called a pineapple stitch. I've seen some books refer to it as a basket of fruit, because like that would be the basket and then the fruit would be piled up on top. But most people call this a pineapple stitch. What I like about this one is the ripples around each one of the pineapples, and I like how they're variegated like that. Not variegated, they're, what's the word? Staggered. I think that's the word. Yeah, it's also got this like really pretty edging too. Let me see how big this one is. This ends up finished size is 50 inches by 67 inches. That's good size. I like it in that just one color too. I think that's one of those patterns that you'd only want it to do it in one color. Oh, I really like this one, and it's not just because it's yellow. I like this stitch. It looks like a very, very simple stitch that ends up working up very elegantly, and all the work is done in this border, which is just gorgeous. I personally don't think this border is too much, even though I could see how some people might think that about it. This one's called Story Time, and the finished size is 35 inches by 47 inches. So if I was to do a tutorial on this blanket, for example, I'd probably do a bigger chain and more rows so that I can make it more of an Afghan size. Forget-me-not bouquet. You know, these different kinds of granny squares that are like hexagons or octagons or whatever, you know, these are starting to become a lot more popular. I mean, I've seen them since around 2005 or so, but it seems like they've been growing in popularity more and more. But these do look like forget-me-nots. I like that. It's pretty. So this one's called Nighty Night Granny. So yeah, it's another variation on a granny square, and you've got the bigger ones and you've got the smaller ones right here. And if you look at the placement diagram, you can see there's smaller ones in between the bigger ones. So that's kind of interesting there. Yep. So we're into the next season. We're into summer. Alrighty. So this one's called Summer Mint. Looks like a bobble stitch there. Some kind of clustered stitch. 47 inches by 63 inches. Here is the sunrise ripple. I like that color scheme. I wonder if it's like the sun rising in the sky, or if this is supposed to be the horizon, like maybe over an ocean or something. Not certain. Finished size is 46 inches by 63 inches. And I think that blue and yellow looks good together, especially the brighter yellows look really good next to blue. We've got the Patriotic Starburst Granny Square Blanket. I suppose that's for the 4th of July. So these are made by a company that's definitely in the United States. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. Wow, that's pretty. Summer Lace is what this one's called. 48 inches by 63 inches. That's pretty. I like that. This one's called Ocean Beauty. I like everything about it except for the whales. So this works up in a finished size 52 inches by 70 inches. I wonder if these are supposed to look like fish scales. Either way, it's really pretty. They're kind of interlocking shell stitches, or fan stitches even, maybe. Okay, so this next one is called Ladybugs, And this is also a granny square style. You've got the ladybugs and then this kind of like diamond puff stitch pattern also. They just make a checker there. I like the standard granny square joining method there too. And border. Oh, I like this one. This one's so elegant looking. Wow. That's so pretty. This one's called Lovely Look, and the finished size is 53.5 inches by 67 inches. So that's a really good size. I really like that. I like how you've got this kind of, this could have totally been just a chevron stitch where the diamonds start. But instead they start out with these rows, which makes it be, you know, as a straight across. I'm not certain if I would add tassels to this one, but certainly doesn't make it unattractive or anything. Very beautiful blanket there. So this one's called the Rosebud. So this is also a granny square, but it's a larger one. I think that might be an interesting one to do a tutorial on. They look like they're joined together in a very purposeful, interesting way. I'm not certain how that would be, but I could look at the pattern. It's 41 inches by 57 inches, so it's not that big. I'd probably want to make it bigger. But yeah, there's that one. That's pretty. And that also is like, looks deceptively easy to make too. I like how this makes diamonds as well. So this one's called the Diamond Ripple. This one also has tassels on it. The finished size is 53 inches by 72 inches. And then we've got a granny rectangle, which I think that might be my next granny square tutorial, is how to make a granny rectangle, so that for those of you who like to keep going around and around to make a granny square blanket, but instead of wanting a square blanket, you want a rectangle blanket, that would be a good thing to use. I like how it's used in this. Kind of defeats the purpose of the rectangle though, I think. This one's called Floral Comfort. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Either my next granny square tutorial or the one after that I'll do. Wow, and another granny square, Dainty Delight. Now this one I'm going to change what I usually say, and I actually wish that this was done in multiple colors. So that we could see that pattern better, because it looks like there's a circle in the square, and I always like to see that motif much better. It's 38 inches by 48.5 inches, so it's definitely done on purpose to be a receiving blanket size. Oh, that's pretty. Morning Glory is what this is called, 48 inches by 66 inches. I like that trellis. And then we've got these with the Morning Glory going up. And I also like how you can make this be different color flower if you wanted. Morning Glories come in different colors, of course. You could even make the trellis like brown and the Morning Glories white. You could do a lot of stuff with that. That's pretty. Oh, I can't remember if I told you, it works up in 48 inches by 66 inches. So we've got the Dazzling Diamonds. Another granny square style blanket here. It looks like they are using what's called the alligator stitch there on the edging, or a version of it, which is kind of interesting. So we're into autumn now. Alrighty, let's see what autumn has. So we've got these like hay type colored, straw colored granny square blanket, but I'm not certain if I like that black as a contrast color. This one's called Timeless Favorite. It looks like little explosions on it. I'm only saying that I have that in my head because of the patriotic explosion blanket earlier, like with the fireworks on it. And here's one with a lot of puff stitches called Honeycomb. I really like that border right there. That finished size is 46 inches by 60, and that's very, very particular. 60 1/4 inch. All right. And breezy stripes. See, I'm not certain that I like black in these granny square, or I'm sorry, black in these as a color choice in these autumn blankets. But I do like those colors otherwise. Definitely. That might not be black. That might be dark blue. Could be navy. Oh, now this is an autumn blanket. Definitely. Golden Harvest. Look at that. That is so pretty. I probably will actually do a tutorial on this one eventually when it gets closer to autumn up here in the northern hemisphere. This finished size is 46 inches by 61 inches. I like that. I like that one a lot. Toasty earth tones. So it's a kind of a chevron, but it's a large chevron, so it's not as big of a ripple. It's basically not as sharp of an edge. Yeah, that's pretty. We also have Fall Portrait. I like those colors too. I like how they include that darker green. I don't usually think of darker green as being a fall color, but it really is. If you think about the stems on the pumpkins and, you know, stuff like that. And the evergreens, you've got an evergreen tree right here. Okay, Harvest Appeal. I don't find this one very appealing myself, but I definitely understand why it's called Harvest Appeal. And it's not Harvest Apple, I promise. It's a Harvest Appeal. Finish size 45 inches by 60 inches. We've got Radiant Ripples, very bright ripples. This one is 48 inches by 64 inches. Oh, another brown one. Oh, I love these brown ones. And this one also is not as large of a ripple. It's almost like a granny square ripple. This one's called Luxurious Wrap. I like that. That looks nice and warm too. 48.5 by 66.5 inches. I'd probably want to make it a little bit bigger. Whoa, ablaze with color. That is ablaze with color. I think my brain just doesn't like this because there's too much going on. I think if it was just a few different colored stripes, then I'd probably like it better. It is a pretty stitch though. I like that. So we have a dignified granny square blanket. I really like this. I really like this square here because we've got that, but then we've got this really interesting border around there. I like that border for that granny square blanket. So I really like that part. This one the finished size is 49 inches by 68 inches. So this one's called Focal Point, and it's 45 inches by 65 inches. And this is the way it looks when you actually work it up. It says it has an edging on it too, which I'm assuming it has to with those huge fan stitches. Might be peacock stitches. So this one is called Classic Aran. Yeah, I love those diamonds, and it looks like there's some kind of puff stitch in the middle there, or a bobble stitch. Don't really like these panels as much as I like just that plain, yeah, that plain diamond looking stitch. I like that a lot. So we're into winter now. Oh, this is a pretty granny square. I've seen this one be called like a star stitch. I think it's supposed to be snowflakes in this one because it's called Frosty Windows. Finished size is 49 inches by 67 inches. Cozy Checks. 48 inches by 62 inches. We've got Winter Abloom. So these are supposed to be poinsettias. I'm not sure if I would put that gold in the middle there or not. But it is pretty. 50 inches by 71 inches, a good size too. Ski Lodge. This is definitely a classic look, but it's also one of those classic looks that my brain just is like, it feels scrambled when I look at it. The finished size is 51 inches by 69 inches, so that's a good size for that too. And when I say that my brain feels skim, I just mean that it's very busy. All of those different patterns and everything, you know. I can definitely appreciate that style in a, for example, like a stitch sampler blanket or something like that. But this is just, there's too much going on. This is nice. I really like this one. It's called Winter Warmer. 49 inches by 68 inches. That does look warm, doesn't it? That's so pretty. Ooh, stunning. I would not call that stunning, but I think that if it was done in a different color, and then if the background wasn't black, it was something else, my mind would find it stunning. or would find it to be closer to stunning. This is just, I don't know. It just doesn't look, to me, it doesn't look as pretty as it could. So that's 51.5 inches by 69 inches. Now this is a classic Christmas blanket. We've got red, white, and green there. I think these are called spike stitches. I've also heard them be called eyelash stitches too, although I think that there's an actual eyelash stitch where it does look like a closed eye on it. This one's called Christmas Cover Up and is 49 inches by 66 inches. This bold plaid, which measures 53 inches by 68 inches, is something that I already have that I'm going to be doing. Not this particular one, but I was going to show you guys how to do a gingham blanket and kind of just carry that yarn across as you are working that up, because that's the way to do it. So I've already decided that I was going to do a tutorial on that anyway, but this is a good example of a gingham blanket. I wouldn't use black. I would use, at least not with this blue color. I would use white, but with like a red and black, you know, could make like a checkerboard. Okay, so this one's called the Dashing Throw. It's 45 inches by 68 inches, and it's done in these like panels that you end up sewing together at the end with, you know, with your yarn. And that style blanket is called Mile a Minute because you only have to do one row over and over and over, and you can get it done really fast. So it feels like it's working faster than a regular blanket. And then they're all joined together as panels. And this one's called Evergreen. I really like that one, and I like the way it's called. I like the colors in that one too. This one is 46 inches by 61 inches. And we've got Interlocking Hearts. We've got this one called the Chain of Hearts, 47 inches by 60 inches. It's just like something that would be nice to do for Valentine's Day. And Double Cozy, and it's called Double Cozy because you're working with 2 strands of yarn as you make this, which is something that I don't particularly like to do. It's just always felt awkward to me, but it is 48 inches by 68 inches. And here we've got Twilight Light Snowflake blanket, and this is also a granny square or granny hectagon or whatever that is blanket. 49 inches by 63, and I think that might be the last blanket. Yeah, the rest of this are general instructions, what each one of these stands for, terms, the gauge, basic stitch guides. Looks like they've got all the stitches on there. Yep, stitching tips, and the credits there. So thank you for joining me to look through this Afghans for All Seasons book. This is book 2. Remember to look on my channel for that giveaway. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and let me know which one of these blankets, that not the granny square ones, but the others, which one of those that you'd really like to see me work up. And if you really did like the granny square blankets, let me know, because that might bump those up, as I might do those earlier than what I was planning on doing. So definitely let me know that. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you soon with another video.